Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. Shatobia Keisha Clayton, age 29, of Silver Springs, was arrested Monday night on a second-degree felony charge of possession of a controlled substance. Clayton was the driver of a vehicle that was stopped for a traffic violation. Upon contact with Clayton, Special Crimes Unit Officer Sergeant Mark Estes could smell a strong odor of marijuana coming from the vehicle. Sergeant Estes advised Clayton and the passengers of the reason for the stop and then proceeded to ask about the marijuana smell. The front passenger of the vehicle then handed Sergeant Estes a red container carrying marijuana. All the occupants were then asked to exit the vehicle as cover units arrived on the scene, at which time the back right passenger handed Sergeant Estes approximately 2 ounces of marijuana. Clayton stated that she was in possession of contraband, as well as confessed to having approximately 14 grams of crack cocaine hidden in her clothing. All occupants were arrested and transported to Hopkins County Jail for booking. Once at the jail, officers removed the contraband from Clayton, which was discovered to indeed be crack cocaine weighing approximately 18 grams. Clayton now sits in Hopkins County Jail on a $30,000 bond for possession of a controlled substance equal to or greater than 4 grams, but less than 200 grams, which is a second-degree felony. Bond for Donald Michael Roach, age 44, was revoked and reset Monday in 8th Judicial District Court during a hearing on the state's request to rebond. Roach is now under a $200,000 bond. Roach had been in Hopkins County Jail following the outcry of a 7-year-old child to a relative. Roach had been on a $150,000 bond for sex abuse of a child continuous victim under 14 years of age. That bond had been lowered to $75,000. Now it's $200,000. The child and her mother were living in the same residence with Roach. According to Chief Criminal Investigator Lewis Tatum, the child told a relative about the continuous sexual assault. The relative took the child to Hopkins County Sheriff's Office, where a report was made. The child was then interviewed by investigator Dennis Findley and then taken to Child Advocacy Center in Winsboro, where she again made an outcry during an interview with a forensic interviewer. Texas A&M University Commerce is honored to be awarded a $1.6 million Chancellor's Research Initiative grant for the purpose of specialized scientific equipment for the new Biomedical Institute for Regenerative Medicine and the recruitment of a new professor and 2 new assistant professors to conduct research in the institute. This innovative research, headed by A&M Commerce Distinguished Professor from the Department of Biology and Environmental Science, Dr. Larry Leminsky, is expected to be developed into a world-class university-based research enterprise located in the new Health Sciences Building with faculty-level scientists, postdoctoral fellows, and both graduate and undergraduate students contributing to the research. The current research team recently discovered a ribonucleic acid from the human heart that has the ability to turn non-muscle cells into functional cardiac muscles. The breakthrough in biology and medicine means that in the future it should be possible to repair the damaged areas of a heart following a heart attack. For more on this story, see KSSTradio.com.
The Hopkins County Hospital District has developed a program for a family medicine residency at Memorial Hospital in Sulphur Springs with leadership and guidance from UT and Tyler. Now, Dr. Leslie Tingle came to Sulphur Springs to implement the program, which is now accredited. Dr. Tingle, along with Memorial Hospital's Sherry Moore, will explain how this will benefit our community.
We are opening a family medicine residency program with Hopkins County Memorial Hospital, a project that was birthed by the hospital district.
Okay. And what will this residency program do, and what is it set up to do?
The residency program is part of the larger graduate medical education system in the country. And just to give folks a little background, young physicians, as they finish medical school, all choose a particular specialty or discipline to train in for their career, and they apply to residency programs of their choice to achieve that. The residency programs many people are familiar with are family medicine and pediatrics and internal medicine. Those are considered sort of the primary care disciplines. Other residencies would lead to things like neurosurgery, general surgery, obstetrics, and so forth. But our program here will specifically address the education of young physicians who want to be family doctors when they finish.
And we need more of those, don't we?
We absolutely do. There is a shortage, not only in a significant shortage in East Texas, but a larger shortage if you look across the nation.
Of course, we think that county, an area such as ours, friendly place, good place to raise children is a great place for anyone to settle.
I would totally agree with that. And I've known something about this community for about 12, 13 years as I was in medical education with Baylor in the Metroplex. And we would send our resident physicians who were partway through the 3-year program out here to spend a month and get an experience in the rural area. In fact, one of our former residents from Baylor did come to practice here, and many people know Dr. Coker, one of our graduates from the Baylor program.
We know and love Dr. Coker. We think she's great. Well, so our hospital district decided to launch a residency program, and it's not something that's done overnight, but it takes a lot of research and preparation.
Exactly. I began writing the application in August. The hospital district, Sherry Moore and others did a lot of work prior to that. Fortunately, the state of Texas funded some development grant money, and Mr. McAndrew here and his partners at the University of Texas in Tyler obtained one of those grants, had consultants come in, and in fact determined that all the pieces of the puzzle were here to launch a quality program.
Okay. Well, so we can accommodate several doctors at a time, several residents?
The residency is described as a 1-2 format, which makes it a little bit unique. Most residencies will be sponsored by an institution, and all of the activities that residents participate in will be near that home institution, typically in the same town. Our sponsoring institution is the University of Texas Health Science Center at Tyler. And our residents will spend their first of 3 years in Tyler. Successfully completing that, they will move here and spend the second and third year here. At the end of the third year, they're eligible to take their board certification exam in family medicine and then able to enter practice.
So this really boosts the length of time that a person is seeking to become a doctor? Is that right?
Oh, it absolutely does. Residency adds on significantly. One thing to remember is that residents are physicians. They are licensed by the state of Texas to practice in the setting of a training environment. And what that means is, regardless of the specialty an individual chooses, from the beginning of residency to the end, they really make a transition from having been a medical student. They are a physician, but they undergo an experience where they gain increasing autonomy and increasing authority throughout the residency training. They do continue to have supervision, however, from, in our case, both family physicians and other specialty physicians in our community all the way through the training.
Well, in other areas, then, hospital districts may be offering residency in other areas. We want to do family medicine.
That is correct. At a broader sort of East Texas focus, there's a significant need not only for more family physicians, but also for folks trained in behavioral medicine. And the University of Texas system that we're working with was approved about 2 weeks after our approval to open a psychiatry residency, which will open in Tyler. We hope to have an increasing relationship with the Health Science Center in Tyler, and in fact have some of their residents work with our folks over time.
Sounds like our link with UT and Tyler is very, very important.
It's critical. One of the things we're going to be able to, a number of benefits come to us from this relationship, and one is through some federal grant money, we're installing a broadband telecommunication link from Tyler to Hopkins County, and we'll begin to transmit all of their conferences, their grand rounds and afternoon conferences to our Medical Plaza conference room. That'll be open to our resident physicians, but also to all the staff physicians and nursing staff and anyone else who's interested.
I think other hospital districts may, want to copy us.
Interesting you should say that. I think one of the challenges in rural medicine, regardless of what the discipline is that you're trying to recruit, is attracting physicians to the area that didn't grow up in a rural area and then retaining them once they come. And I believe what we're setting up here is going to be somewhat of a new model for rural family medicine. I haven't touched on it yet, but we're going to be incorporating a significant amount of telemedicine into the teaching curriculum, and which means that we have, and our resident physicians, as they learn, will have access to highly trained Metroplex subspecialists in things like critical care that will be able to consult on patients 24 hours a day. So essentially, we'll be bringing additional services to the community.
Anybody who has not seen that in action, that telemedicine machine, it really makes a believer out of you of how great this is that we can use that knowledge and apply it to right here where we are.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't want to misconstrue this as the telemedicine is coming because of the residency, because Dr. Gallagher has been active here, Chief Medical Officer, and he got this program up and running. We're a little concerned as we put in the application because there are not many other residencies in the country that will be using this technology. But indeed, in April, we were approved by the national accrediting body with the curriculum we submitted, and that includes telemedicine.
I would say for our website readers at ksstradio.com who read all about this on April 27th, unlike me, you know probably a lot more about our coming residency program than I do, but it's all there, even questions and answers that you can, acquaint yourself and educate yourself a little bit more on that. So, are there comparisons we can use from other hospital districts, maybe our size, who have had a residency program and were able to retain those doctors?
Well, actually, there's a lot of literature out there in family medicine and also in other disciplines looking at sort of the recruiting outcomes and retention outcomes in smaller community hospitals or rural hospitals. And it turns out that even when you look at residents training in larger areas like the Dallas Metroplex, about 70% will stay within 100 miles of their residency training to practice medicine. And so it increases our chances of long-term retention dramatically by training people here. And when I say here, the 2 years here and the year in Tyler really hopefully will have a big impact on them as they look at East Texas as a practice destination.
Just tell us whatever things that I have not asked you about this program.
Great question. I think one of the things that every educational program brings to its hospital campus and community is a sort of a stimulation of the medical staff, and it's a very positive thing. Although occasionally folks that have not been involved in education for a while are a little anxious about it, but young physicians, residents are going to come in and ask questions of more mature physicians that perhaps they haven't thought about in a while. They kind of stimulate the whole academic atmosphere of where they're training, and this will flow out to the nursing staff, to our nurse practitioners and PAs, and just having regular academic conferences on campus will be a great stimulus to the area. And I think connected to that, the residents have very specific requirements to participate in things like quality improvement of the process of care and projects that will focus on improving patient safety. Now, the hospital is already working in those areas, and a lot of resources go in there, but to have young resident physicians who are on those committees and bringing projects forward and doing some of the work, I think will be helpful.
Yes, Dr. Tingle, tell us a little bit bit more about your background. We have just about 2 or 3 minutes left to talk here.
Well, I'm originally from Texas, born in
Good
Bryan,
for you.
But grew up in a military family, so traveled all over the country and all over the world. However, as soon as I had the ability to make a major decision, I came back to Texas, and of course went to college at Texas A&M. Went to medical school then at the University of Texas in the medical branch in Galveston. Trained in family medicine at the University of Arkansas, and then practiced in Albuquerque, New Mexico for a number of years. Very quickly, I was activated in the Air Force Reserve during Desert Storm, and they put me into an Air Force family medicine residency program as a teacher. And that really changed my career path dramatically. When I came back to practice, I started looking around for full-time teaching, which I found at Baylor. And so was in family medicine education in Baylor for a number of years before retiring for 3 weeks and then taking on this project.
And then you came to us, and we were so glad that you're here.
He did, and we're glad.
And I know Sherry wants to tell us about Hospital Week.
Oh, that's...
And, of course, that involves our Dr. Tingle, too.
It involves all the staff, all the employees, everyone. We do a big celebration the week of Hospital Week. So every day we have activities planned for next week. So it'll be kind of wild and kind of busy, but we have lunch, and we'll have health fairs, and we'll have even our 5-star program on Friday afternoon. And so all the doctors and the employees and the staff participate. So we have a lot to be thankful for. We're a very blessed community, and we have a lot of wonderful people that work at the hospital. And so we want to say thanks to them.
You are in marketing and more administration side of the hospital, but were you ever a nurse, Sherry?
No, I'm actually an X-ray technician.
Oh.
I'm licensed in X-ray and mammography, and I still have that licensure. I hope I never have to use it, but I still have that licensure. So, no, but that's what my background is. So,
Okay.
And then I came to Sulphur Springs because my husband came here to coach, and we've been here, and
You
we're
have.
retiring here. So, I'm never moving again. That's it.
Even though you have kids, little grandkids that you like to go off and see.
Yes, I have a few that are not here, but the youngest one is moving to Texas. He moved to Texas yesterday as we spoke.
What? So
From Duluth, Minnesota. So
that
I'm
cuts off
praising
your
the
longest
Lord.
trip.
That is a much shorter trip, so I'm praising the Lord. So but it's
That's
good.
wonderful, Sherry.
But thank you for having us. We appreciate it so much.
And May is, I believe, National Health Care Month.
It is.
So we're going
It
to
is.
encompass hospital
Nurses Day
nurses.
is actually Friday, so we'll be doing some stuff for the nurses next Monday night. There's a special thing for the nurses, and then we have EMS week to follow that. So yeah, the month of May kind of gets really ramped up and busy.
Okay. Thank you, Sherry
Thanks.
Moore. And thank you, Dr. Leslie Tingle.
Thank you.
We will be seeing and hearing from you, we hope.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
A disappointing season for the Wildcats baseball team ended with a disappointing loss to Marshall, 11-1, on the road Monday night. The game was a continuation of one that got underway Friday, but was quickly called due to lightning and rain. The game resumed Monday with the Wildcats ahead, 1-0, and with a runner on first and nobody out. The momentum soon shifted to the Mavericks, who needed a win to stay tied with Hallsville for second place in the district. The Mavericks took the lead 2-1 with a pair of runs in the bottom of the first. They scored in every other inning, adding 9 more runs over the next 5 innings. The game was halted in the bottom of the 6th due to the 10-run rule. Tyler Follis worked the first 3 innings for the Wildcats and took the loss. Heston Golightly pitched the last 3 innings. Marshall only outhit the Wildcats 9-8. Easton Silman and Michael Arnold led the Wildcats with 2 hits apiece. Ryan Humphreys hit a double. The Wildcats end the season with a district record of 5-9. Their season mark was 8-14-1. Welcome to high school spring football, Coach Greg Owens. For the first time ever in his coaching career, he's having spring football. The Wildcats got underway Tuesday afternoon. Practices, either outside or in the multipurpose building, should last about an hour and a half each practice. The Wildcats have scheduled 15 practices with 4 per week. Spring football will be ending with a spring game on Thursday, May 26th. This week, with the all-sports banquet now Thursday evening, the Wildcats will conduct a spring workout during the athletic period for the players on Thursday. There is a trade-off for having so much practice time in the spring. The Wildcats will be reporting 1 week later than usual in August and will have one scrimmage instead of two before the regular season starts. Freshman Sienna Collins of Saltillo, who won the state championship in cross country in Class 1A this fall, qualified for the Class 1A state track meet in 2 events at regional competition at Tarleton State University last weekend. Collins was first in regional in the 3,200-meter run and in the 800-meter dash. The state track meet for Class 1A will be in Austin May 13th and 14th. Also competing for Saltillo at the regional meet but not advancing were Brenda Castro, who was 7th in the 1,600-meter run and 9th in the 800-meter run. Katie Perea, who was 11th in the 1,600-meter run. Trevor Moore, who was 4th in the 800-meter run and 12th in the 3,200-meter run, and Walker McGill, who was 14th in the 3,200-meter run.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.
Coming back.